Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Firefighters Podcast. Today on the podcast, we're heading over to the Netherlands, Rotterdam specifically, to welcome Kevin van Oosten to the podcast. Kevin has been in the fire brigade for 2 years, and he is a firefighting diver. Now, I know what you're thinking. Diver? Did I hear that right? That's right. Kev is a firefighting diver. Now, think about it. The Netherlands has got a lot of water. So when they have a road traffic collision, or when a vehicle enters the water, or when somebody is trapped, losing their life deep beneath the surface, Kev is the guy that's going in to rescue the day. Now, of course, Kev is only part of a big team. So today we're going to talk about the training that's involved. Now, if you're listening in the UK or another part of the world, it's always interesting to hear the type of training that goes on out there. So for Kev, it might involve a 2.5K run. It might involve the fitness tests, breath holds underwater. How do they train to become a firefighting diver? I always love listening to people all around the world, the different ways that the fire service operates with that same goal of helping keep our communities safe. This is a really interesting episode, and Kev is such an interesting guy. Thank you so much for coming back to the Firefighters Podcast. I know you're going to enjoy this one. It's great to hear from Rotterdam. Today's episode is sponsored by the wonderful William Wood watches. If you're not familiar with who they are, this is a global company, but they're based right here in the UK. These are made from 100% recycled fire service equipment, once forgotten, now reborn. Each one of their watches contains a piece of history. William Wood was the name of the owner's late grandfather, and he served in the British Fire Service for over 25 years, winning commendations for his acts of bravery. William Wood was stationed at Pilgrim Street for the Newcastle and Gateshead Fire Department, serving on the Blue Watch. The William Wood logo represents the side profile of the 1920s British firefighter helmet in dedication to his grandfather and the years of courage he showed in the service. So whether it's melting down the original 1920s British brass firefighter's helmet and placing it on the back of the Chivalrous collection, or using the blue upcycled fire hose from his grandfather's hometown region of Tyne and Wear in the Valiant collection straps, you can be sure that every single William Wood watch has history beating through every component of it. Head over to WilliamWoodWatches.com and check out their beautiful collection right now. Once forgotten, now reborn. Grab yourself a watch today and let's jump in there with Kev. Kevin, welcome to the Firefighters Podcast. How you doing, brother?
Thank you. I'm doing fine. How about you?
I'm wonderful, my man. How's life over in Rotterdam at the minute?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. I'm currently at my work, so if the alarm sounds, I need to go.
So you're on there right now, so any second we could get a call.
Yeah, I'm on there right now.
Fantastic. So I wanted to invite you onto the podcast because there's so many different roles within the fire service globally. And I know a lot of our listeners will contact us from different areas of the world, and they'll go, wow, I didn't realize that there was those types of job in the fire service, and we don't have that here, or we don't have that there. And your role in Rotterdam, you're a firefighter, you've been in for 2 years, but something really specific about what you do is that you are a firefighting diver.
Yes, I am.
Which to most people, it's total opposites in their mind, because some people think fire service and they just think, well, you go into a house and put out fires. But we are fire and rescue services, so many different aspects of how we rescue people. So tell us a little bit about what is a firefighter diver?
A firefighter diver, as you say, you train for a diver. You're just a normal diver. But you also need to train for rescue diving. So if someone falls into the water or a car gets into the water, we will try to get there as quickly as we can and try to get the person out of the car or out of the water so they won't drown.
So this is kind of something specific that has been put in place in like the Netherlands and places like that, because you've got a lot of water around where you live.
Yes, we do. Yes.
But your fire appliances, you do have the normal stuff as well. So you've got like a normal truck, you've got a fire ladder, but you have a specific tender, a specific fire engine just for your dive teams.
Yeah, that's correct. It's actually in a big SUV car.
Okay.
and there are 2 divers in the back seat, and then a driver in the front seat and a commander in the front seat. And we are all packed with all kinds of diving stuff like ropes, saving nets, all that kind of stuff. It looks like a normal fire truck, but it's a bit smaller actually.
So is this part of the role that you do from the first day, if you know what I mean? Is everybody on your station a firefighter diver as well, or do you become a firefighter and then you do some additional skill sets to become a diver, or does everybody need to pick up this skill set in Netherlands?
No, we are in the Netherlands. We have around 7 or 10 diving stations around the Netherlands.
Okay.
And where I am based currently is Schiedam. That's in Rotterdam.
Mm-hmm.
And when you come there, you first need to become a firefighter, just a normal firefighter.
Yep.
And then they say to you, you have to train to become a diver. And they go to train because it's very heavy training.
Okay.
And when they think you're ready, they will send you over to the diving school. And you first learn to dive, just normal diving.
Mm-hmm.
And when they think you're ready to get to the rescue diving, they will become a trainee at rescue diving, and that will take about 1 year to become. And when you are a rescue diver, they first want to see at your station that you're good to dive.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to go diving with your own station for around 5 or 10 times. And when everybody feels okay with it, then you're ready to.
So it's a pretty intense process to get to it.
Yes, sometimes it is. Sometimes it's a lazy job because when you're underwater for training, you can basically lay on the ground and wait before they tell you to come up.
Okay.
But when there's a serious call, yes, it's very heavy. Because
people think of like a house fire as like a fairly strange environment. We feel like we shouldn't be there. We shouldn't be in a house fire because it's dangerous. Do you know what I mean? It can collapse. We can obviously, firefighters unfortunately still die in fires every day, but that's one environment where a human doesn't belong. But underneath the water is definitely where we don't belong. I mean, we are not, we're not born with any of the tools to do that. So it must be a really different mindset to have to get yourself into. Does everybody feel comfortable with it, or are the people that are like, you know what, no, I want to be a firefighter, I've got no interest in diving? Why did you want to do both?
Well, from I was a child, I always liked water. And when they asked me, would you like to become a diver? I thought, it's very cool. I've seen videos of it, so I thought, let's try it. But yes, first time in the water, it's very uncomfortable because you won't see shit. It's all black. You see nothing.
Okay.
It's cold.
Yeah.
Everything is heavy. And you're swimming for around 45 minutes.
Really?
Straight, so it's very heavy.
Yeah.
But when you see the fun sides of the job, it's very cool. You can save a person on the water. No other firefighter will come there. And if you come on a scene, paramedics, police, everyone's waiting there for you to do your job. So everyone's going aside for you. That's giving a very great feeling. And when you get the person out of the water and still alive because of your job, it's such a great feeling.
But I mean, there's so many questions, because I've only done a very, 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 very small amount of diving in my life. I'm not going to pretend that you and I are of the same level at all. But whenever I've done it, there's been and I know everything we do is safe, but there's been it's a very long process. When I've been diving, there's so many safety checks to go through, and rightfully so, because people can die, from decompression and not diving properly and not checking their kit, but. You turn up at an incident, and you've got to take this very, very safe, long, drawn-out process and compress it to minutes before you're able to get. Because otherwise, like you say, if somebody's entered water in a vehicle or something like that, they've got matters of minutes, and especially if you're going in there to save them. Okay, they may have passed out or whatever, but if they're in cold water, they might survive a little bit longer, so you can pull them out. But how do you compress that? So for anybody that has done a dive-in before, how do you compress that into a point where you are ready to go all of the time. So your kit's all checked, but when you turn up at an incident, what's going through the system? What are you already ready to do, and how long does it take you to get to work?
Well, as you say, when I start my shift, I always do a pre-dive check. So I check my kit and everything in my suit. And when a diving call comes, we will get in the car, and while we're driving, we will get dressed. And my buddy next to me, he will check me globally. So he will check my mask and all that kind of stuff. Okay. And when we are getting out of the car, we have 30 seconds of checking each other. Okay. So 1 minute in total. We check each other for 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we will go into water. So we hope where everything is working properly.
Yeah, and then you just got to go for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when I get out of the car, I will check a couple of stuff. I check the mask again if it's working. I check if his bottle is open. Mm-hmm. I check it if his zipper is closed, and I check if there are some balloons on the bottle. Okay. To stop the bottle from freezing when you're inhaling too much.
Yes. Okay.
And I would check if those balloons are working.
Yeah.
And that's actually everything I check.
Yeah, because like you said, as long as you're not taking water into your suit, and as long as you've got air, that's about as good as you're going to be able to get. You've got to hope that all the other checks and all of the work that you've put in prior to that, it's all going to come down to your training at that point.
Yeah, and when we were in the water and we noticed that waters were running in our suits, we communicate that with the person out of the water. Yeah, saying well, we're getting water in our suits. Mm. But then we keep going with diving. But when we notice that our oxygen level is getting low, mm-hmm. or I can't breathe normally, mm-hmm. Then when we stop diving and we're going up immediately. Okay. That's actually the only reason why we stop diving, when we have problems with the breathing material.
Okay. So anything else can be going wrong, like say water's coming in or anything like that, but you're going to keep making progress, obviously as safely as you can, until you mentally or physiologically have started to behave differently when your breathing has started to change. Yeah.
When we notice what you say, we are getting a difference in our breathing material, then we stop.
So talk to us about the physical requirements, because you obviously have to pass some fitness tests to get into the fire service in general. I mean, firstly, what are the fitness tests to get in over in Rotterdam? What do you have to do to get into the normal part of the fire brigade?
Well, the normal part is running. We begin with running 2.5 kilometers in 12 minutes. And then you need, immediately after running, you go to a swimming test. And you have to, I think it was 10 times the swimming pool. You need to do a couple of swimming types.
Okay. Well, like go down to the bottom of the pool or swim underwater, or?
No, that's the diving part.
Okay, sorry.
So when you're going for diver, the normal firefighters are done after swimming, and when you go for dive, you stay in the swimming pool longer. Okay. And then you do that kind of stuff. So you're swimming underwater, stop breathing for a minute, and that kind of things.
Well, you have to hold your breath for a minute.
You need to lie underwater for 1 minute, and then you need to come up. You wait 20 seconds, and then you need to go down for a minute again.
So you swim, you go down and lie on the bottom of the pool. Yeah. And you have to wait there for a minute, hold your breath. Yeah. And obviously, and then come up to the top, 20 seconds, and then go back down and hold your breath for a minute again. Yes, and then you come up and then you're done. Crikey.
So they want to see how long you can stay underwater without air, because your body can stop breathing for around 2 to 3 minutes before it passes out. Okay. So it's all mentally that you get signals from your brain that says you need to get air. Mm-hmm.
You can override some of that, can't you? You can take control of some of that, because there's some breath hold records in the world that like 17 minutes or something ridiculous, where
it's amazing.
You take a very long time, do all your diaphragmic breathing, oxygenate your system, and then bring everything so far down that some people can take their resting heart rate to ridiculously low levels. Do you guys ever have like breath hold competitions and see who can hold the breath the longest and all that sort of stuff?
Sometimes you try to do that, but well, my record is around 1.5 minutes, and then I think I stop. I come up. I think it's enough around 1.5 minutes. So there are people in our group who can hold the breath 2.5 minutes.
2.5 minutes?
But it's no longer. Yeah.
Even that is really impressive. It is a very, very long time. For anybody that's listening, try and, even just in the shower, just try and hold your breath for a minute. You could be surprised how difficult it really is. So I wanted to take you back to some of so when you're doing in the normal service, you did the 2.5K run, sure. You did the 10 lengths of swimming. Do you have to do any strength tests?
Well, you have a couple of strength tests. You have one at the hospital. You need to do a strength test.
Okay.
But what we do is we go 3 days straight into the forest with some military men, and they will put you mentally and physically as far as you can go. And there they will check you on your strength, your mental health, all that kind of stuff.
So how long do you go for? How long do you go there for?
Sorry?
How long do you do that for, sorry?
3 days.
3 days in the forest?
Yeah, 3 days in the forest. Not much. It's actually a military workout. So you don't have a lot of food.
That's fantastic.
Not much water.
That's really, really good.
Sleep.
I wish we did something like that. That is awesome.
A lot of people stop the training by there.
But that's good though, because you don't want people that can't take it. You don't want people that can't hold themselves steady mentally and just because it's only 3 days. It's not that long, guys. You just need to.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And yes, at day 2, you're starting to think of why I'm doing this, because you're broken and you have all kind of sores on your feet, on your hands. But then you think you're almost there. It's 1 day left. So wow, and everyone, so many men can do it. So why can't I?
Yeah. And also, I think if you just sort of take your mind out of it, I often, when I'm in a situation like that, I just sort of, I always call helicopter it, where you come mentally out of yourself and you go, okay, what's really that? Are you dead? No, you're not dead. Okay. Is this going to end? No, it's not going to last forever, is it? You know what I mean? Even if it's 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, this is not going to last forever.
It feels like forever, but
it's not forever. I've not ripped a muscle. I've not broken my leg. Apart my family has not had a horrific illness. I mean, I'm like, come on, get a grip. Just get a grip of yourself.
Last time we have one man in our group who really got aggressive after the first day because of no sleep.
Yeah, and that's what I was about to say, mate. Sleep deprivation is the biggest one. Because everybody, when you get there on the first day, and you've slept well and you've eaten lots of food and everybody's ready, then we can all do 100 press-ups and we can all feel great. Right, what are you like after no sleep for 1 day, for 2 days? That's when you get down to your base level instincts of, can you control yourself? Can you not get agitated, not get short with people? Can you still think rationally? Can you still solve problems? Can you still listen? Can you still follow instructions? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And what also was very, not mean, but when we are at the night of day 2 to day 3, they told us when you are building a camp very quietly and we can't spot you, then you can sleep for the entire night. Well, obviously they spot us.
Yeah.
So they told us, okay, you can sleep for 3 hours and then we are going back to the training. So we built our camp and we are getting in our beds. And after, I thought, 30 minutes, they put our camp down. And they say, everybody out, no sleeping, running for 2 miles.
Yeah.
So that's it's mentally breaking you, because you're thinking, well, we can sleep for 3 hours. Well, after 30 minutes, so you're out of your bed and going on with the training.
I love that.
And there were also a couple of people who broke there and were crying or something like that. And that's no problem. But some people also stopped the training and said, well, I want to go home.
Yeah, and that's fine.
You're almost there. You're almost there. There's 1 day left.
No. And that's what they always call the false finish, which I absolutely love. I love that. And I do that regularly when I work with clients and stuff like that, is being prepared for the unexpected. Expect the unexpected. That's what I always say to people, because life is gonna kick you in the face every now and again. It's not gonna give you what you expect. There are gonna be setbacks, and you've got to control the controllables. You can't control what's gonna happen to you. You can just control how you handle it, how you react to it. That's all you can do. That's all that's within your power.
And accept that you have no sleep. it's shitty at that moment, but
Yeah, that's
it's only
fine.
a day left, so
Yeah, that's it. And once you've come to terms with that, it's okay.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? You can
yeah,
then start to readjust your mindset. And even if it says 2
yeah,
miles, 4 miles, 10 miles, don't worry about 10
yeah,
miles. Worry about 1 mile. Yeah. And then when you've done
yeah,
1 mile, focus on the next mile. Then focus on the
yeah,
next mile.
exactly.
And don't worry about like getting through 3 days. Focus on getting through today. Because
Yeah,
otherwise, if you try and focus too far ahead, when that moment catches you now, when you're not concentrating on what you're doing, that's when you'll get that weakness. That's when you'll go, no, I can't do it. I can't do it right now because you're focusing on 3 days away or 10 days away. Do you know what I mean? Small
yeah,
goals, small goals. And it's the same as like when you go into the water. You can't worry about, what am I going to do next set or next week or next month when I'm coming on. I need to focus right here, right now.
Yeah, focus on first priorities, and the rest I will see later.
Absolutely, and that's what I say to people. Everybody in the fire service, they're a master problem solver, but they also have the innate ability to prioritize. Do you know what I mean? What is noise and what is actually important? What do I need to focus on right now, and what is not a priority right now? And that can really upset people. Really upset people if their priority is not aligned with your priority. It can be quite upsetting, especially if you're at a fire or something like that.
Yeah, we had something like that around 1.5 weeks ago. We had a collision on the highway, and there were 2 cars involved. And in one car there was a baby of 1.5 years, and in the other car there was a man of around 50. And the baby was not breathing and was stuck in the car, and the man had only broken his leg and arm. And what we do when we came on the scene, we were the first on scene. We were all focused on the baby to get him out and start CPR. But the man in the other car, he was screaming and calling us out, and was very even aggressive to the police because we didn't help him at the first time. But then we need to explain to him, you weren't our first priority at that time. People don't understand that. People only think of themselves at that moment.
Mm-hmm. That's when people, like you say, when things get really bad, we go right down to our base instinct of I am the priority. I always say to people, when you arrive at an incident and you've got people screaming for your help and you've got somebody sitting quietly, who's the priority? And they're like, well, he's screaming for help. Oh, he's screaming for help. I need to go and help him. And you're like, no, if he's screaming, he's got air. He's breathing. He's fine. Yeah, leave him. He's absolutely fine. The person that's going quiet, what's going on here? Why are they quiet? Why are they not making noise? What's going on there? And people really struggle with that, like you said, because in life, we're so used to rewarding noise, rewarding attention. Social media, scream and shout, the news, scream and shout. I know you'll get attention. Well, no, actually, that's not how we need to look at it, because especially the vulnerable people that we work with, both at Fire Instance, but as just part of our role, it's the people that aren't asking for help. And this is where we see mental health and things like that. I wanted to ask you actually about the mental health aspect, because you have to learn so many skills and still do a very challenging role on top of all of your training. So do you get obviously mentors, or do you get a coach, or how are you supported? Because you've been in 2 years now, so perhaps you've done a lot of development, you've done a lot of training in the last 2 years. How have you found that process, and what support did you get?
Well, at my station we have one man who is training with me. So it's my teacher. Okay. And beside of that, you have a couple. First you have to do the fighting training, so the normal firefighting job. And I had one teacher who taught me everything with another group of men. And after that, I'm going to dive, and then we have I thought around 6 or 7 teachers. Okay. And they will all help you. We have 2 teachers for the reading stuff. So they help you with that, because you start with all of the theory. Before you get to dive, you will always start with theory, and I thought that was the hardest part. It's so much of theory you have to learn. Yeah. So they will help you by that, and you go step by step. So when you're done with theory, you go for the first time in the swimming pool. You start in the swimming pool. All the procedures you need to learn in case of an emergency for yourself. Yeah. So when you get stuck yourself, or your breathing and material stops, you all train that stuff in the swimming pool. We have done that. You go outside, so in the water. And there are also a couple of teachers who will help you mentally, but also physically. So they will keep your feet fit. So they will, I thought it was 2 times each week, you will go running with them.
Oh, really? So they actually go out running with you?
Yeah. And sometimes when they see, because when you're a couple of weeks every day diving, it will kill you mentally. You're just broken after that.
Why is that? What's the biggest mental stress about diving?
Well, there's nobody around you. You're on the water on around 15 meters down.
15 meters?
And nobody's there.
That is deep. That's a lot of pressure there.
You're there for around... Yeah, there's some pressure on your suit. But we're swimming in a dry suit, so we can pop some air in our suits.
Okay.
So we won't get squeezed in our suit.
But when you're down there by yourself, it's like, say, it's dark, it's silent.
Yeah, and nobody's there. Right there for around an hour. It's no problem. But when you go up, you need to wait for a half hour, and then you go back down, and that's a couple weeks after each other. So that will break you mentally. And when they see you're starting to break, they will take you apart, and they will talk to you about how you're feeling, and then you can say to them, I think it's hard to get down there every day for so many hours. There's nobody around you. It's cold. It's dark. You don't see anything. You won't hear anything.
Yeah.
And mentally, it's very heavy. And they will talk to you about that.
What do you do when you're down there by yourself? How do you mentally deal with it? What goes through your mind?
It's actually very stupid. I just close my eyes and stop swimming and keep. I feel like I'm touching the ground with my both hands.
Yeah.
And that's actually all I do. And when I think about something else, about my day or about a movie or something,
yeah, and like you take your mind somewhere else. I do that sometimes. When I'm in an environment where I can't actually see, I don't try and see. If it's pitch black in somewhere and you're trying to see, it can be stressful.
Because when you are down on the water and it's black and you can open your eyes, but you really won't see anything.
Yeah.
So why would you open your eyes?
Yeah.
Because when you're opening your eyes, you're going to see things that aren't there.
Yes.
Because when it's black and you open your eyes, you see things like a fish or something like that, but it's not there. So then I close my eyes.
Do some people get scared by that? Because, I mean, at 15 meters, I know people probably aren't thinking about this, but your normal swimming pool is about 2 meters, maybe 3 meters in the UK. So 3 meters. People are like, okay, well, swimming pool's deep. And I'm like, no, the swimming pool's 3 meters. So imagine that 5 times, five times as deep as that. This is like a 5-story building. Do you know what I mean? It's that deep down. And when you're down there, I'd be thinking like, I mean, it sounds silly, but whenever you go into the sea when you're on board, you're kind of like, is there a shark down here? Is there something that's going to kill me? And like you say, if you're swimming down there and it's pitch black, you can start to imagine things in your mind where you're like, what was that? What was that just swam past me? I just felt something.
Sometimes
what was it?
Well, I only have to. I actually after every diving, every time I'm diving, I think about that, but only when I'm going down.
Yeah.
So when I'm going down to 50 meters, I'm on top of the water and I'm swimming around 10, 15, 20 meters out of the harbor or something.
Yeah.
And then I'm waiting and giving the signal from I'm okay, and then they say to you, okay, you can go down. But when you're going down, you won't see anything, so you won't see what's below you. Maybe it's something sticking out of the ground or something. You don't know that. That's the only time when I'm scared of diving.
Yeah.
Because there are reports of a diver who has got stabbed by something iron or a glass what's lying on the ground, sticking out of the ground. When you're going down with some speed, and you're gonna climb on top of it, it will penetrate you, so you will bleed. Sometimes there are deadly cases where someone gets pierced by something iron through his body.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's all sorts of everything just ends up on the ocean bed. Anything that comes, we dump it in the ocean, or waste products, or any kind of debris, or even just rocks. When the water flows past the rocks, they can become incredibly sharp. People that see reefs, but also at the edge of the coast. You go around the edge of the coast. If you ever get thrown against the rocks when you're swimming, they are sharp. Yeah. And if you swim, like say, straight really down on one of them, and you catch a current or something like that, you can damage yourself, and you're a long way away from help.
Yeah, Yeah, and also the clamps on the bottom, they are very sharp when you're touching the ground for certain the man who or a woman who's missing.
Yeah.
You're touching the ground every time, every meter you touch. There are clamps, there are bottles of wine or beer.
Yeah.
Your hands, we wear gloves. We wear special gloves with the Kevlar in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, also that will break when you touch a bottle what's broken.
Yeah, absolutely.
Full power, because it will just penetrate your skin and your glove, everything.
Has there ever been,
I'm
hoping there isn't, but has there ever been an example of where anybody has been in contact with any kind of sea life where they didn't think there was going to be something out there, but there was, I don't know, dolphins or seals or, I don't know, sharks or whales? Or...
Now, sometimes we have seals swimming beside us. So you scare, there's a seal swimming, because you won't see it coming. And when a seal is beside you for 1 meter beside you, it's very big. It's enormous.
Yeah, they are. People see them swim and they think they're just so graceful. Yeah. But I went swimming with one before, and like they're absolutely massive, and they're really heavy as well. They're like 180 kilos or something like that, and which is like 30 stone.
Yeah, and they won't leave you. They will stick with you for the entire dive. They will stick to you.
And like, do they ever like you say, when they're around you, they look so graceful, but they are really big.
Yeah, they are. The head is also enormous, but the first thing what you see is the head, and it just looks like a rock that's coming towards you.
Oh man, so that must be scary. That has got to be really scary.
Yeah, that scares the hell out of you. But when you know it's a seal, then it's okay. You just okay. Then my entire dive now is a seal beside me.
There's a seal beside you. Fair enough. You must have people that it's too much though. They just get scared and they get out, or they have to come and get rescued, or.
Yeah, when you're underneath the water, you always can say I'm coming up, but it's a seal. It normally won't hurt you. So, and if you're really tired of it, yes, then you can swim on the other side, or you go out and another dive will go in. But you need to get in your mind that there's also a person down there.
Yeah.
And it's just a seal, so it probably won't hurt you.
Yeah, I love that.
Divers will just go through.
Probably. Normally, probably won't hurt you.
Normally, it won't hurt you.
It has got teeth, but it probably won't. There's no need for it to. Just don't annoy it, basically.
No. Yeah, and you can because when it's beside you, yes, you're probably going to touch it for 1 or 2 times, because I've never touched a seal. When it's beside me, I'm going to touch it.
Yeah.
But you need to be look out, because when you're touching it, it can bite you.
Yeah. Because it's curious, but it doesn't necessarily want to play with you too much.
Yeah, that's it.
I love it.
It's playing with you, but it doesn't want to get played with him.
Yeah, yes. It's a one-way relationship. So,
it's a one-way relationship.
We've said about diving down there, but like you've said, you're actually going down there for a purpose. So let's take our mind back to a car. Yeah. So a car has gone into a river or a lake, or it's in the water in some way or another. When you get down there, do you actually carry tools down with you to then have to performing a rescue underwater, but somebody's still stuck in the vehicle?
Well, when we are diving for a vehicle, I always take a live hammer with me to break the window or cut the how you say it, I don't know how you say it. Well, you can cut it with a live hammer.
So when you cut through, the glass,
seatbelt.
The seatbelts, right? Yeah. So you always take a knife to cut through that.
Yeah. Yeah, to cut the seatbelt and smash the window.
Yep.
But when the person is stuck, then I think my priorities, or he's dying here, or I maybe break his leg or whatever, and get him out. So I'm going to pull as hard as I can until he's loose.
Wow, really? So it is just a case of trying to maneuver their body and break them free of however they're entrapped.
Yeah, and sometimes there are cases that it's so stuck, I can't get them out, and then there's another option, but it will take a lot of time. Is to call a crane and just pull the car out of the water with a crane.
Okay.
And the crane needs to come, and we need to get ropes on the car.
Yeah.
That would take maybe 40-45 minutes. And we all stop about a golden hour. After an hour, we stop diving. Then it's over.
Wow.
But when you're down there for 40-45 minutes, it probably won't work anymore.
Do you take like a spare mask down, or like another tank to give to the casualty, or is there any way for you to give them air?
There is a way to give them air. I have an emergency octopus on my bottle set.
Yeah.
If they are still conscious, then I will absolutely give them the octopus so they can breathe underwater.
But chances are they're not going to be. By the time you get down there,
no,
they're probably passed out already.
9 times they are unconscious, and then my first priority is get as quickly as I can on the surface. And that will take me around, and when I'm at 15 meters, it will take me around 30 seconds to get up. And then if I need to grab my octopus and put it in his mouth and give him, when you're doing that, when he's unconscious, you're intubating him, actually, because you're blowing air in his mouth.
Yeah.
So you need to get a chin lift and all that kind of stuff. So that won't work underwater. You just need to go up as quickly as you can.
Okay.
And hand them over to the ambulance.
Yeah, because it's not going to work because the body's already sealed over, and then you're just going to get water in the lungs eventually.
Yeah. And normally when you are unconscious, you probably have already water in his lungs.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it won't work.
So when you're on station on a day-to-day basis, how do you obviously say that you go for runs and stuff like that? But how do you keep fit? What's Kevin's fitness routine? Do you use the gym? Do you lift weights? How do you stay fit?
Well, when I'm home, I'm going to the gym 3 times a week, just a normal gym.
Okay.
And at my station, I always work out for around 1 hour. So also weightlifting.
Okay.
And currently because the COVID virus, we can't play soccer, but we normally play soccer for an hour.
Okay.
So that's a condition. But now I'm just running outside. I think around 2-3 times a week. So before I'm going to the gym, I will go for a run.
Wow! So a lot of fitness to try and keep yourself there as well.
I'm liking it. So yeah.
How much do you think your fitness is part of like staying mentally balanced as well? Do you find that if you miss the gym, does it affect you at all?
Yeah, that will affect me. I think it will affect everybody.
Yeah.
When you are when it's heavy mentally, and you won't stay physically fit, then you won't get mentally fit. So your body has to be fit to get mentally fit.
So what are the big goals that you're looking towards now? What does your career path look from here, and what's your ambitions over the next few years?
Well, first I want to take it easy right now to get working for around 1 or 2 years. Okay. And then I would love to get some search and rescue teams. Okay. But I also would like to become a commander. But that would take me around 5 to 10 years to become that. So that will be my next goal, to become a commander, actually.
What's the process to becoming a commander?
First, you need to go to a couple of tests. And when they all agree to you for, okay, you're clear to go to the training. The first of all, you get the theory lessons. It's around I think you're 2 years busy with the theory.
Wow.
And then you go outside, and you would actually you will go with the commander on your station. You just look at him, what he's doing, and taking notes.
Oh, so like shadowing them. So shadowing them and watching them.
Yeah, you actually shadowing them for around. And when that's all going well, and you're learning what they're doing and why they do it, because it's also important. And you get an own vision on something, then they will send you to the school. And then it would take, I think it was 3 years of training every day to become a commander, because it's not only on a call that you need to be in command. There's also a lot of administration
Yes.
A lot of talking to people, but also you need to have a mental conversation with somebody else. So somebody is having a problem, or you have seen something really heavy, and you need to talk about them. So it's also learning a lot of talking to people and seeing all that kind of things.
So they do have that support for people that go through those challenging things. Your commanders get trained in how to support people's mental health as well.
We have people who are trained in that. It's called TCO. In Dutch it's called Team Collegiale Ondersteuning. So that's actually people who they are colleagues of you,
okay,
but they are especially trained in mental breakdowns.
Okay.
Because when you've seen a lot of death or something like that, you just break. There's always one time in your life when you break.
Absolutely, brother. I've seen it, and it's horrible to see. It can take 1 year, 10 years, 20 years, and it will just be something that one day just changes for people, and they struggle to deal with it. Yeah, they snaps. Yeah.
Yeah, and it can be a very small thing. Because I have a colleague who has 2 children. And a week before, we were at an accident with a child who's died.
Yeah.
And his own child has a problem, so he was in the hospital. And it's a very small thing. We were at a call of water damage. And there was a kid wearing the same pajamas as his own kid. And that when he snapped, he told us so. He said, "I'm going outside." And then we all think, what's wrong with him? So we went outside and was sitting on the car, crying. Well, so what's going on? Yeah, then he was just broken. He said his dead pajamas is the same as my own kids.
Yeah,
and that breaks him.
It can be something as
so it can be a small thing that breaks you.
It's so important that we remember that, and that we are always checking in on each other. Always really sincerely, not just saying hey Kevin, you okay, brother? And you're like, yeah, and I'm not. No, are you really okay, mate? Do you want to go for a walk? Do you want to go for a drink? Do you want to go play some soccer? Let's get some time together and let's just talk.
So we always every time we are working, we always cook with each other.
So important. Important.
Yeah, that are the best conversations you can get in the cities, in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You can ask everybody everything, and everybody is normally they would tell you everything. They are the best conversations you can get.
Yeah.
They are so important to talk to each other.
When you're just there preparing food together, and that's when somebody just says, "Oh, I was thinking about this the other day," or "I was thinking about that," and really, I'm not sure how I feel about it, or and then that's when the conversation starts. And I totally agree. Whether it's a watch, whether it's a team, or even your family, cooking together is so important. It doesn't even matter what you're cooking. Do you know what I mean? It hasn't got to be all super healthy food or whatever. I bake cookies with my children sometimes, and they're where we really spend those special moments together. And it's the same with the team. It's so important that we cook and prepare food together. Yeah,
and especially when you work, my colleague, you just see so much things with your colleagues, so you have a connection with them.
Yeah,
and so it doesn't matter when you're crying or angry or whatever. You can tell them everything, and there's no shame, and that's so beautiful to see.
Absolutely.
Nobody is blaming you on something, or you have to shame about yourself.
No.
You have done so many things that you won't do with your normal family, but you've done with your colleagues. So you have such great connection with them. It's beautiful.
Man,
I've never seen it before when I come on the job.
It's so important.
It was strange for me when you, as an outsider, you come inside of a group who's with each other for 5 or 10 years. And it takes time before you're taken into the group. But when we had a big call around 2 or 3 weeks after I went into the fire station, and with a couple of people who died. So and then they accept you in the group, because then they've seen so much shit with each other.
Yeah.
Then they accept you. It's very crazy when you come in. Yeah. You don't know what you're up to and that kind of things.
You don't know it until you're there, and that's, I believe, what everybody is hunting, what we're all looking for, because we want to be part of that part of that team. We want to know that to the left of you and to the right of you is that brother and sister who would be there to look after you. You know, when you're down diving or when you're in the house fire, there is someone who understands what you've been through and will look after you mentally and physically. And you know, you're in it together. You're part of a team. That's what it's all about. And it blows my mind when I talk to people on the podcast from across the world, and it just instills it and just makes it deeper and deeper and makes me more passionate about it. Because you know, we've never spoken before, and you know, you're in Rotterdam, but I talk to you like I was going to see you on the fire station tomorrow, and it's just I love it. I love it. It's just I love it.
Well, I think it's everywhere around the world. It's all the same, actually, I think.
Yeah, totally agree. So for anybody that's listened to what you've said today, and whether it's somebody based close to you in Rotterdam or anywhere across the world, why would you encourage somebody to join the fire service, and what advice would you give them?
First of all, you need to make sure if you really want to, because you're going to see some things. I thought you can really help people, because when someone's stuck in a car or whatever, you can really help them. And it's such a beautiful job. You get so much respect from people.
Yeah.
And when you see somebody live because of what you did, that gives me such a great feeling.
Such a direct connection between what you do and the result.
Yeah.
You know, before I got there, they were in this situation, and we as a team, or I did that, and that made a difference right there. Yeah,
that's such a great feeling, and it's so beautiful. And also, you come everywhere. When you're a paramedic or a police officer, you only come to all medical calls or police calls. But when you're a firefighter, you come everywhere.
Everything.
To assist the police, to assist the ambulance, for fire, for a collision, for everything. So that's also very beautiful.
I always say to people, look, with the fire service, you get invited to all the best parties, and everybody's glad to see you. Do you know what I mean? Because sometimes the police, bless them, some people like to see them and some people hate to see them. You know, the police might turn up to a job and the public are not very welcoming, and I feel for them, and you know, my heart goes out to them. But the fire service, everybody invites you to the good stuff, and when you arrive, everybody's glad to see you. Yeah, because when the firefighters they're coming, there is a problem. Yep. And we can fix it. That's it. So there's always a happy see you. Absolutely love it, brother. Keva, thank you so much for taking time to come on the podcast today, my man. I really, really appreciate it. And my no problem. My love goes out to all the team, and I hope you guys are staying safe out there. I hope so too, and thank you for the interview. I really liked it. I hope my English was okay. It's absolutely fantastic, mate. I really, really appreciate you having this conversation in English with me. It would have been a rubbish episode if you'd have asked me to speak your language. Can you speak a little bit Dutch or don't? I don't speak any Dutch at the minute, no. Teach me some Dutch. How do I say hello? You just say hello. Okay, that's easy. I can do that one. There we have it, folks. Kevin van Oosten. I'm confident I've got his name wrong there, but what a fantastic episode. Kevin's a really interesting guy. You know, we chatted when he came off the podcast, and I was just blown away by, you know, how you take that firefighter mentality and apply that ability to handle stress, you know, be in an uncomfortable environment where, you know, humans don't belong, deep beneath, you know, 15 meters down, this guy's operating. Getting down there, finding casualties, having to pull them out of vehicles, you know, and carry out that life-saving action. Especially the bit about swimming out and then having a seal come straight towards you out the pitch black. I'd be like, absolutely no way. I'm joking, I would love that. Thank you so much for coming back to the Firefighters Podcast today. From everybody on the podcast, please look after each other. Please stay safe. Please show your support for the emergency services wherever you are in the world. For any more information about the Firefighters Podcast, head over to our Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube channels, and we'll be right there to listen. We know we're going to see you again real soon, but we don't take it for granted. Thank you so much for spending time listening to the Firefighters Podcast today. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay hungry, look after each other, and we'll see you soon on the Firefighters Podcast.